Being that we're in this new era of iPads and tablets as personal computing devices, the obvious key here is portability. But there are some drawbacks to that because you don't get the same type of computing power that you would get from a laptop. So why can't you have it all? What's up, y'all? Moke. Welcome to my Techflow, and this right here is my Microsoft Surface Pro 3 review. Let's go. So let me give you a little background about my computer history. Throughout my lifetime, I've owned a lot of Windows PCs and laptops. But one day, I decided to make a switch into the Mac world because of the Apple Mac Mini. I love the small form factor, and I can hide it anywhere. I use that as my full desktop experience by plugging it into my television set, and I loved it a lot. The only problem that I had was there were a lot of tasks that I just didn't want to go to my computer to do. So I ended up using my cell phone a lot to do those kind of tasks. One day I realized I needed to get something different, so I ended up buying an Android tablet. That tablet ended up being the Nexus 10. I love the Nexus 10 because of the portability, but I realized that there were some tasks that I couldn't do on my Nexus 10 that I could do on my computer. And because of that, I had to bounce back and forth between the two. But then one day, Microsoft unveiled the Microsoft Surface Pro. And now in the third generation of the Microsoft Surface Pro, I finally feel like they got the hardware and the design right. So let's check out the specs. Now on the front side of the panel, we have a beautiful 12-inch clear type display with a resolution of 2160 by 1440 with a 3:2 aspect ratio. Needless to say, folks, this is Retina class. At the top of the front and rear of the Surface, you're equipped with two 5-megapixel cameras. Also on the front, you do have a capacitive home key, as well as two front-facing stereo speakers. Now on the left side of the device, you will find yourself with the volume rocker as well as the 3.5mm headset port. On the top of the Surface, you'll find the power on and off switch. On the right side of the Surface, you'll find the mini display port, the full-size USB 3.0 port, as well as the charging connector. At the bottom of the Surface, you'll find the cover port. Like other popular tablets on the market, the Surface connects to its cover magnetically. However, unlike other tablets on the market, you're going to find the strongest bond between the Surface and its cover, mainly because the Surface cover is also a full-fledged keyboard. This type cover that comes for the Surface Pro 3 has a felt-like texture around it that I'm not too fond of. It also has this double hinge that adds stability when you're using the Surface Pro 3 on the lap, unlike the previous generations of the Surface Pro keyboards. Opening up the kickstand will reveal the micro SD card reader slot. Now back to the kickstand. Microsoft made great improvements to the kickstand's ability. On the original Surface Pro, when you opened the kickstand, you were limited to 22 degrees, which was cool for some but not cool for all. But now with the new Surface Pro 3's kickstand, you're able to maximize that to a full 150 degrees. And I can assure you that from any degree that you choose to open it at, you're going to find a lot of stability. Now there is a flaw with the Surface kickstand, and that flaw happens to be this little gray bar right here. The problem that I have with this bar is how the Surface kickstand feels when it's in direct contact with your skin. For example, I'm going to roll up my pants here, and I'm going to set the Surface in my lap the way I would normally use it. If I shift my leg either left or right or front and back, it'll leave a scratch there. Needless to say, it doesn't feel good because it's sharp. Now let's move away from the hardware. When it comes to using the Surface as a tablet, I love it. It's big for a tablet, but then again I wanted a bigger tablet, so I was happy with that. It is awkward to use the Surface with one hand, something I really don't recommend. In terms of the interface, I think the Windows Live tiles look amazing. I did run into some issues looking for apps that I normally used to use on my other tablet. But then I thought to myself, what am I doing? This is a computer. So I just installed Android on there and I got rid of all those problems. In fact, it works so well that I don't even use my Nexus 10 anymore. Now when it came to using the Surface Pro 3 as a laptop, it took a little bit of time for me to get used to it. The reason being is because it's kind of a step away from the traditional style laptops that I normally use. Normally with a traditional laptop, you'll have a situation where the majority of the weight is balanced at the bottom as opposed to the top. You always felt like it was gonna knock over. And although it's different, trust me, it doesn't knock over. That reminds me, since this is a computer, it has to have fans. The beauty about the Surface fan is that you never really hear it. In fact, it sounds like a little hissing sound going on. Just check it out real quick. There are some benefits to the weight distribution being up top. When a regular laptop gets warm, you feel it on your lap and becomes uncomfortable at times. The beauty about the Surface is that the heat is actually on the top, and because of that, you never feel any heat. In terms of multitasking, I haven't been able to slow down the Surface yet, and that's with me running Photoshop alongside of Illustrator, alongside of Premiere, alongside of Chrome. Just hasn't slowed down once. I'm very impressed by that. Now the next thing that I want to talk about is the stylus that comes with the Surface Pro 3. When Microsoft announced the Surface Pro 3 stylus, they wanted you to get away from the fact that it was a stylus and start thinking of it as a digital pen. This stylus uses Intrig technology, which is supposed to give you almost pinpoint accuracy when you're writing. And honestly, it feels like a pen, it looks like a pen, it clicks like a pen. Check this out. So I decided to take this to school one day instead of using my traditional pen and paper. I used OneNote to take all my notes in class, and for a writing experience, it was pretty dead on. I really wish OneNote had something that can replicate using a notepad, and by that I just mean continuous line paper. If they had that, I'd go green all day. Now I don't use the stylus that often, but I do believe the stylus is very beneficial to those who are interested in art. So if you're a sketcher or a painter, I believe this is a great thing for you. I gave my Surface to my friend and told him to test out the stylus by using the Fresh Paint app. Within about 5 minutes of using the Surface, he created this self-portrait right here, which he probably doesn't like, but I think it was pretty amazing. So let's talk about this keyboard. It's amazing to believe that Microsoft was able to create something so thin, yet so efficient at the same time. This type cover for the Surface Pro 3 has a backlit keyboard. There is an issue that I don't like about the type cover. I'm not that accurate of a typer, and for me, I like a little bit more space in between my keys when I type. As you can see on the Surface keyboard, all the buttons are connected, which means that there are times that you can push 2 buttons at the same time. The other thing that I want Microsoft to correct here on the type cover is the way the keyboard bends at the bottom near the trackpad. I love the trackpad. It has high sensitivity and it clicks. When you have the keyboard placed on your lap, it tends to bend a little bit, which makes clicking a little bit harder than normal. In terms of battery life, I'm able to squeeze out about 5 to 7 hours per charge, and that's with my screen brightness set at about 50%. The charging connector for the Surface Pro 3 connects magnetically, and it lights up to let you know when it's properly inserted. The charging time is anywhere between 2 to 3 hours. So I'm gonna wrap things up right now. I think there's a huge misconception about what the Surface is. There's factors that won't make the Surface the best laptop in the world, and there's also factors that won't make it the best tablet in the world. The one thing that I can tell you that the Surface Pro 3 is the best compromise to create a laptop in the form of a tablet, and not the other way around. Now I want to hear what you think about the Surface Pro. Is this something that you think you're going to be buying? Please leave all your comments and questions in that comment section down below. Also hit that like button if you like what you see, and subscribe to be the first to receive new content from Techflow. Alright then y'all, catch you on my next.